So, we've talked a lot on this channel about Frontlines and Rush in Battlefield 5, but we've never really taken the time to put the two modes head to head. And with Rush back in the game this week, a lot of people on social media are pleading with DICE to bring either one of those back permanently. So the question is, which one of these modes would you rather have back if you could have one, or would you rather just have both? Well, obviously, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this one, so guys, this is BillyEatWorld again, and let's find out. Alright, so if you're new to this franchise, or if you just don't keep up with Battlefield news, well, a few months ago, DICE got rid of Frontlines playlists with the understanding that one day they'd probably be back. Because at the time, it was just fundamentally broken. People didn't want to play the mode, and unless you lived in Europe, it was kind of hard to find populated servers most of the time. On the other hand, though, the classic Battlefield mode Rush, which has always been a staple of the series since the Bad Company games, well, it was never destined to be a permanent mode in Battlefield 5. So what that means now is we find ourselves at a point where there isn't any permanent 32-player linear modes in this game at all. And if you're someone like me and you love those kind of modes, well, that kind of sucks. We still technically have one linear mode, we have Breakthrough, and we do have Squad Conquest to fill the smaller cap role, but neither of those really fit the bill of a mid-sized linear objective-based mode. And so unsurprisingly this week, people have been calling for Rush and all Frontlines to be brought back permanently, and so far DICE has, as usual, been silent on if and when they're going to do anything about this. I think a lot of people are hopeful that they'll bring back both, and maybe they will, but judging by some of their past decisions, I just don't think this is really that likely, because after all, they got rid of Frontlines in the first place because it was underpopulated. So I'd say if we get either back, it's going to be one or the other, or something else is going to have to go. So the question is, which one should they keep and which one should they cut? And, well, to kick off, let's talk about Rush, because like I said, it's always been a staple of the franchise. I mean, do I have to say more than it was the flagship mode of Bad Company 2, arguably one of the best games in the series, and it obviously continued to be still one of the most popular modes in BF3 and BF4 as well. Unlike Frontlines, which is a push-pull mode, Rush is obviously push-only, so that makes it less dynamic, but depending on how you look at it, that actually could be a good thing. Because if you're into competitive shooters or tactical shooters, well, you'd know the more predictable a mode is, the more player skill and knowledge of the maps makes a difference. Now, I know a lot of people would probably argue that's not what Battlefield is all about, and sure, that's one of the reasons I think people think Frontlines is a better option. It's more open and you're more free to move around, but the trade-off is a lot of casual players don't understand where they need to be at different points in the rounds, and the actual game mode itself doesn't hurt them to be where they should be. You can't stuff around in Frontlines. You need to push or pull back straight away after a flag goes down, which a lot of players don't do, leaving at least half of one team or the other completely out of position. And when that happens, you only get one of two options. Either the game lasts forever because neither team can win, or the game is all over in 5 minutes because one good squad actually understands how to play the mode and exploits the fact that no one else knows what they're doing. Now, I've spoken about before in previous videos that some of the ways to solve Frontlines issues is to tighten up the boundaries and to introduce the retreater mechanic on every single flag. But then you're taking away some of that dynamic nature of the mode, some of that openness and the chaos, and then Frontlines ceases to be what it's actually designed to be. Also, and I think here's the biggest argument for why Rush needs to be in the game instead of Frontlines, Rush already has those two features that I just mentioned already. Sure, it's a bit stiffer and it's less crazy than Frontlines, but it actually works right now. And not just that, but it's tried and tested. DICE know that people like it, and it's obvious they still want it back. With that being said though, that's not to say that Rush in BF5 is perfect, because it's really not. First and foremost, its biggest issue is that it was always meant to be a limited time mode. You can tell the maps in this game haven't been designed with Rush firmly in mind like they were in, for example, Bad Company 2, and so for that reason it's never going to be the same experience. On the other hand, you could argue that's probably a reason why Frontlines might be a better fit in this game than Rush, considering most Battlefield 5 maps are designed around sectors as objectives. But at the end of the day, they still have to be placed in the right spots, and once again, that's another fatal flaw of Frontlines, because some of the sectors are just too far apart or across rivers or open terrain or stuff like that, making them impossible to capture. But anyway, just to finish up, regardless of what happens, I'm sure whenever DICE does get around to introducing private games, we will have the option to create servers with either of these modes on whatever player cap we want. But that's not really the same, is it? And nothing will ultimately be better than having one or the other of these modes back in the game permanently, running official DICE rules and official map rotations. And most of all, the reason I personally think it's really important this happens sooner rather than later is because for me, Rush or Frontlines, if that's what it has to be, is really what I love about the Battlefield series. And I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat as me, and with every week that passes by where these modes aren't available, I find it harder and harder to boot up the game and play some other mode that I just don't enjoy as much. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this video. So as always, make sure you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you a Rush fan or are you a Frontlines fan? Do you like them both or do you hate them all together? Please leave a comment and let me know what you think down below. As always though, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And also don't forget you can find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later and have a good one.